Cybersecurity concerns are ever evolving. OT cybersecurity is even more complex, and it's so much more than just software and hardware. How do you stay on top of it all? Aaron Crow has over 25 years experience with cybersecurity, 15 of those years focused on operational technology across multiple industries, and he wants to help you. Welcome to the Protect OT Cybersecurity Podcast, brought to you by Industrial Defender. Now here's your host, Aaron Crow.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for joining us today, guys. Gabe and Greg, I really appreciate it. I know this is last minute, but I'm excited to talk about our new product. But Gabe, why don't you kick it off with who you are? Some guys have probably heard you've been on the episode before, but go ahead and give us your intro, and then we'll kick it over to Greg, and then we'll get into this.
Perfect. Thanks, Aaron. So I'm Gabe Authier. I'm Chief Product Officer here at Industrial Defender. Been doing industrial cybersecurity for the last 10 years or so. Been in product management close to 20 now. So really excited to be working here at Industrial Defender and kind of kicking off the Industrial Defender 2.0, if you will, and excited to talk about our new product, Phoenix. But with that, I'll kick it over to Greg.
Thanks, Gabe. My name is Greg Valentine. I'm the SVP of Solutions Engineering for Industrial Defender. I've been working with the team at ID, Industrial Defender now in all of its different shapes and glories over the past decade or so. I've been involved in cybersecurity probably for 15 plus years now, but focusing on the OT side of the fence now for at least the past 10 years. So excited to be here and talk about Phoenix.
Awesome. Yeah. So speaking of Phoenix, it's Gabe and I've both been here about 9 months or so, and obviously Greg's been here longer, but this is the first product launch we've had this new product in a while. So it's exciting, and it's a different kind of vertical, but it's still in the roots of what we do with Industrial Defender. So Gabe, why don't you talk about what Phoenix is? Kind of introduce us to what the product is, and how does it tie into all the things that we do here at Industrial Defender?
Sure. So yeah, the neat thing about Phoenix is it is baked in our roots, if you will, right? So we took some technology of our existing platform, we simplified it, made it a bit of a newer look and feel, if you will, a little bit easier to onboard assets. That's one thing that we've really taken a look at, and we really wanted to make it a product for potentially customers that don't have any type of cybersecurity set up on their industrial control system networks. And with that being said, it really allows us to penetrate new markets that Industrial Defender maybe hasn't played in as well, with this new cost-effective solution, really targeting small to medium-sized businesses, so they can do kind of basic level asset visibility / asset management. In particular, small to medium-sized manufacturing, water, wastewater, a couple verticals that we've kind of identified early on that are starting on their cybersecurity journey, or looking to take maybe the next step along the way. And yeah, I mean, we're just super excited about not only the fact it's a standalone product, kind of this idea of a single box solution, but it also gives you the ability, as you mature, to potentially grow into our full suite of products along the way with a very easy upgrade path, and so forth. So yeah, really excited to get this out to market.
So what are the types of things that the product does? So obviously it's different than our main product, but I know it's in alignment with what we do. So if I'm a wastewater company and I have nothing, like what am I going to get this for? What is it going to do for me?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, it does basic level asset discovery. And then once you get that asset onboarded, it really allows you to track it along the lifespan of that asset. So, you're going to be getting all the asset information you would expect in terms of, if it's a PLC, you're going to be getting, the firmware version of that PLC, serial, model, manufacturer, those type of things. If it's a Windows or Linux asset, you're going to get a richer data set just because there's more data on those assets, in terms of, the various software installed and all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, at a high level, It is about asset visibility. Yeah, and I don't know, Greg, if there's some more things maybe you want to touch on that it really jumps out that it can do on your OT network.
Sure. In my mind, it really brings visibility into the picture to an area that typically, especially if you haven't really started down that cyber journey yet, it's a black hole, right?
Yeah.
So we'll be able to tell you if it's the certain configuration elements that Gabe was talking about for PLCs, for Linux or network devices, firewall switches, HMIs, et cetera. We're going to grab all the local users, what ports are open on the system and what process is holding open the port, what software and version of software is on those systems. There's a lot of very interesting configuration data. It's almost like a pure asset management system, which isn't really a cybersecurity element, but there are a lot of cyber elements that grow off of this trunk of asset management, right? So once you have the assets onboarded, you get the visibility into all the different configuration elements of all the different devices in your environment. Now you can monitor that for certain security events, because we're also going to be doing IDS monitoring of your network at the same time. So there's a lot of information there, but in reality, it's all very simple to basically plug it into a span port and you're off to the races, basically.
So that's great, because a lot of the use cases that we're thinking about with this product is these are folks that don't have anything. Like maybe they have an asset inventory on a spreadsheet or a piece of paper or something like that, or maybe they don't. Maybe they have nothing and they know they have stuff back there, but they don't really have an accurate list that right. dictates, I've got these PLCs with this firmware level and it's serving this business function. And to your point, that's not exactly a cyber need, a role, but it ties to cyber. I can build cyber processes and things out of that from knowing the firmware levels, if there's vulnerabilities on them, what ports and services are there, passwords and user accounts and who's an administrator and all of those things that go into it. But it really starts out at that baseline of just understanding what you have in your environment. And a lot of these OT environments, they don't even support IP. They use different protocols. So Greg, I know that we do a lot of unique things like that. Does this product give us the ability to do some of those one-off things, ingesting configurations and PCAPs and all that kind of stuff as well?
Yeah, for sure. It absolutely does. So yes, you can ingest if you traditionally have just been walking down the plant and storing the data in spreadsheets, that's fine. We can ingest that. If you're looking to capture some PCAP data and you want to replay it, we can replay PCAP files within the Phoenix infrastructure. And you can see all of the security events that we pick out of that PCAP stream as it's playing inside of our Phoenix solution. Absolutely.
Awesome. Hey, Gabe, as far as like the hardware platform, you said it was a one box, right? What are the size options from that? Like obviously from small to large, what does that look like?
Yeah, sure. So it can get on a pretty small form factor. I mean, what we typically sell kind of as a starter package with it is a DIN rail mounted industrial PC. We've got minimal CPU and RAM requirements and disk space requirements. So yeah, it can really go on about the smallest industrial PC that you think of, but then it can scale up too. I mean, again, as I mentioned earlier, as those asset counts potentially start going up, we can support that, and then we can also support, if you're getting into larger asset counts that maybe you weren't even expecting, we can even talk about upgrading to the full suite of products where you can do virtualized machine and really give it some good hardware specs thrown at it. So yeah, it really ranges, but the point is it can be on a very small form factor with limited resources.
Yeah, exactly. So we do have the DIN rail mount. We also have a 1U, which is a bit beefier for you, or we can do just a virtual machine for Phoenix as well. And then, as Gabe says, we can seamlessly migrate you to the full-blown production platform, which Could be virtual or hardware as well. So lots of options.
So what does that look like, Greg? I mean, if I bought Phoenix today and implemented it, and I thought I had 50 devices, and oh wow, I've got 300. Like, so when can I do that? What does that look like? What is that process?
From going from Phoenix to the full
Yeah,
solution?
yeah,
It's pretty straightforward. Our full solution, let me start at the beginning. Phoenix is the single box or virtual box solution, one thing that
right.
gives you all of the information that you're looking for. The Industrial Defender solution takes that one thing and treats it almost as a sensor feeding a central manager, we call it, or what in the old school we called it ASM, but it's the Industrial Defender central manager that brings compliance reporting, it brings change detection, it brings some other elements to the base functionality that we're able to provide with the Phoenix solution.
Sure. So speaking of that, like obviously our compliance reporting, a lot of that stuff is in the bigger product, but what can we do in just the Phoenix side as far as some of that? I know that some of that's not built in, but you can do it. So what would it look like on that?
Yeah, the data is yours by all means. So you can certainly export the data in reportable format, and then it's kind of up to you to figure out, well, do I want this in a spreadsheet? Do I want to do something fancy with Tableau or some other reporting system? But the data is absolutely yours. We never see it. We don't want to see it, honestly. So we provide, if it's just a button push to download all the data and play with it for reporting.
And is this something that I would need a team to do, or a really technical IT person to do? What does onboarding this thing look like?
Yeah, so I'll take first crack at this, and you can chime in. But the whole intent, as Gabe said at the beginning, was to take smaller organizations, OT companies that have not really started. They may not have a cybersecurity person, let alone a cybersecurity team, right? So this is a fraction of somebody's job, where the intent is to make this as easy, streamlined as possible. Plug it into a span port or a tap. We will discover all the different devices that are on that network that switch you're plugged into sees, and then you can pick and choose which of those devices do you want to onboard. And then that's basically a wizard process of going through, of onboarding the different devices. And once they're onboarded, we're giving you that rich set of data, the software, the users, the ports, the firmware, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure. And what's the timeline on how much data does it keep as far as I'm looking at it? Because Gabe, I know you talked about that I can look at kind of the life cycle of the asset, but I know there are limitations on how much I can keep internal to the box. Not that I can't get the data, but it's just not going to store it all locally.
That's right. This is not the big full platform that has a server with significant storage and everything. So we keep a 7-day running history of all the data that we're collecting. So you can go back within that last week, and we actually break things down for you day by day by day. You can go in and specifically look for things and search for anything that you like. But from a high level, we'll break things down by what's been going on with your assets today or 3 days ago, what's been going on with your network as of 3 days ago, things like that.
And
try to make it very consumable.
Right. Yeah. And you can even set up alerting and logging and other things as well automatically as certain events or types of things happen. I can set that to send in a syslog or email alerts and things like that, right?
Exactly. We also keep track of all the different devices, like the top 20 conversations that are going on within your network. So what devices are talking to which other devices, and what ports are they talking over, and how much traffic is being sent back and forth. So there's a lot of really interesting, if you want to dive into that level of what's going on within your production environment, it brings that all in very easy to understand and consume tables and charts and graphs, etc.
And I'm sure those are probably more advanced use cases as you kind of onboard this and get a better understanding. But what are some of those use cases? Maybe start out with one or two. That what's the typical type implementation for a Phoenix product and the avatar of the person that may be looking for a product like this?
Right. So let's say you're a water wastewater organization. Everything's running great, but it's always a very tight budget. And you know cybersecurity is something you need to learn more about. You need more visibility into what is going on in your plant. Phoenix is ideal for that. You just basically purchase the virtual machine or the box or the DIN
Sure.
rail, whatever it happens to be, bring it into the plant, plug one of the ports into a span port or a tap if you happen to have a tap, and basically you will be presented with a list of all the different devices that we're able to see passively just by watching the network traffic fly by.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of it will be pretty straightforward. You'll know what the different devices are based on manufacturer or based on the IP address or what have you. So once you determine which device is which, you onboard it and basically tell our system, this is an Allen Bradley 1756 PLC. This
Right.
is a Windows 10 HMI. This is whatever it happens to be. When you do that, we're actually assigning a collection profile to that device, which basically tells our system, how do I collect the info specifically from that specific device? Because it's different. Not all switches have the same interface in the sense of asking it a question so that it will give us the configuration data. Not all PLCs are the same way. Not all firewalls are the same way.
Right.
Right? Asking a Windows system for its configuration is different from asking a Linux system from asking its configuration.
Sure.
So anyway, the collection profiles define that for our system. And so we're just monitoring that information based on the collection profiles that get assigned to the different devices. So immediately you'll see that all the different devices, and then at your leisure, you can start onboarding devices at the rate that you feel comfortable with. And as soon as you do that, you will start to collect all of that rich data, and you will undoubtedly learn a lot of fascinating information about your environment just by monitoring it with Phoenix. It's really pretty straightforward.
Yeah, another good use case is, for those system integrators out there as well. I mean, we've got several people out there going and wanting to go in and do kind of along with their network assessments and maybe their typical tuning of a network at these, maybe larger corporation, whether it's food and beverage, automotive, whatever that might be, where we can go in with a Phoenix solution, go do a basic, scan of the, not even a scan of the network, but the setup of the assets on that network, and then gather that data in and present a robust report back to that end user that shows all that rich asset information that Greg was talking about. But it's doing it more of a kind of a one-off, again, as if you're a system administrator. And then it might be the case where, we want to, move into a full-blown industrial defender deployment at that particular customer as well.
And security events as well, right? I mean, I've been focusing on the asset configuration, which is absolutely fundamental to the product. But, security events, we're going to be looking for failed login attempts to different devices, successful login attempts to different devices, et cetera. What devices are attempting or are successfully connecting to systems outside of your network, maybe over the internet? That kind of detail that you may or may not be aware of is really meaningful that you may not have known about to begin with.
Yeah, because it's actually got an IDS built into it as well. So there's a lot of advanced capabilities that are well beyond just the asset management stuff, which I really see that as, again, we've said it a few times, but that's like that foundational piece that everybody needs. And this product is getting us that first step. And it really helps to tie into things that, as I bolt things on, whether it's the full-blown industrial defender capabilities, or I'm tying into a logging system, or some kind of change management solution, or all those types of things. It has the ability to send that data elsewhere and input data from other things as well, which makes it super powerful to grow with. So it's a cost-effective way to start, and it also allows growth without having to rip and replace things all the time, right?
That's right. It is a really straightforward, simple way to get your feet wet into the cyber world. No doubt about it.
Yeah, that's exciting. I know for me, looking at the interface and seeing all the work that the guys did, and and how it looks and how fluid it is, and move things around and create dashboards and onboard assets. All of those things are really exciting. And again, with the focus around I go back to the avatar, that word, but the person, the end user that's going to be using it is probably not always going to be an OT cybersecurity professional, or even a cyber professional of any kind. Maybe not even an engineer. Maybe they're the plant manager, or maybe they're the only person at this site that just happens to be there. So it needs to be easy enough that absolutely anybody can walk through it. Even maybe they have to have help remotely, but they can walk it through and do this without a high-level consultant or a CISSP being next to them to get value out of this product.
Yeah, I think that's a real good point too, Aaron. And in terms of, it being a pretty lightweight product, in terms of, even then once you get it set up, I mean, the care and feeding of it is almost minimal to none. Again, you can set those alerts up, like you said, where you're actually getting alerted, or maybe it's just a matter of, logging into the platform, couple of times a week, just to kind of check on how things are looking, making sure there's no anomalies out there and that sort of thing. Yeah, kind of the beauty of it is you get it set up and it's just off and running, and then it's minimal work from there on out in terms of checking the cybersecurity health of your industrial network.
Right, and yet you have an automatically current, up-to-date system that you can query at any time to find out what, oh my goodness, there's some big hair on fire vulnerability. Do I have that software anywhere in my environment? 10 seconds later, you'll know that yes, you do, or no, you do not.
Well, and the other piece to that, and I know that's a cyber use case, right? But the other use case that we like to talk about is I'll also know just all the assets I have. So if I need to renew a software license, or if I need to renew a support agreement on a PLC, or any of that stuff, I have the full blown inventory that I can compare with what my sourcing or my accounting department has. They've got a list of the things that I purchased, but they don't necessarily have that correlated to where those devices are. Are they still in service? Are they being used? Have they been upgraded? Like, do they have additional cards in them? They don't have any of that information. They just have, here's the PO from when you ordered it 10 years ago or 15 years ago. I don't know, that thing could be sitting on the shelf back there. I don't know what's actually plugged into your network.
Patches as well. What devices have a certain patch? This is a very important patch that needs to be deployed. Do I have it already set up? Or did I miss any of my systems? You can use Phoenix for just that situation as well.
So what size environments does Phoenix work for?
Yeah, we really target this for, kind of the 25 to 200 asset level range. And then, if you're getting much above that, then it probably makes sense to go to our full-blown Industrial Defender solution. But, it can work all the way up to 200 assets, and we're getting a lot of good, rich data from all those assets.
And devices are really just everything we've been talking about. It could be network devices, it could be HMIs, PLCs, et cetera, et cetera. So that's all.
And can I do, like, if I had multiple sites, could I do multiple Phoenixes?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Multiple Phoenixes is fully supported, and then the nice thing is you got multiple sites. You've got multiple Phoenixes installed. They're working great at both sites. Hey, maybe you want to get some centralized reporting. Well, yeah, you could of course create that yourself by just grabbing the data from Phoenix and doing it yourself in whatever reporting platform you currently have, or you can easily migrate to our centralized manager that has centralized reporting in it. So again, we designed it in a way that the migration path as you scale up is easy to administer.
I know that there's a lot of regulation coming out, and obviously we're really big in NERC SIP and a lot of the power utility space. This probably doesn't fix that because it doesn't have the built-in compliance reporting, et cetera, in it. But a lot of these other regulations that are coming out that don't have the stringent reporting capabilities, et cetera, TSA and some of the others, 6443, et cetera, that are coming out. Could this help in some of those, is at least from getting data and understanding where I'm at in those against those regulations?
Absolutely. I mean, those if you look at those regulations, a lot of it, the sections of the regulations that deal with the asset inventory, and again, knowing what you have on your network, you will satisfy that. And so absolutely, it's a great first step in helping with your examples of TSA, IEC 62443. We've, NIST, it'll follow that kind of standard as well. So yeah, we can help with that.
Outstanding. Well, hey guys, is there anything else we want to cover in this time? It's been a great dive into this new product and kind of talking about all the things and the use cases and some examples. And obviously, you can reach out to any of the three of us, and we'll dive further into it and give you a demo or walk you through it. There's some things on our website, obviously, but it's an exciting product for us. We're really excited to have it available for the market.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I will just do one soft marketing plug there at the end. Please go check our the website where we've got the Phoenix landing page. It is actually a nice click through that can actually walk you through kind of click by click on some of the asset detail that you can get from Phoenix, and it's well covered on our website. So yeah, please check us out.
Yeah, we'll put that in the show notes with the link to that and probably some photos of kind of what the interface looks like as well. So
that's great.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you taking the time today.
Anytime. My pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Protect OT Cybersecurity Podcast. If you got some valuable information from today's show, please subscribe, rate, and review the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. To learn more about Aaron and to get your free copy of the OT Cybersecurity Solution Buyer's Guide, go to industrialdefender.com. That's industrialdefender.com, or you can click the link in the show notes.